It's time.
Make it so.
It's me, Mario!
I'm Batman. Strong am I with the Force.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You're a wizard, Harry.
And welcome to World War G episode 137. I'm Troy.
I'm AJ.
It's a late show.
It's our late night edition.
Yes. It's the Tonight Show starring World War G. No, because that's copyrighted.
Oh.
Yeah, it's late
Yeah.
on a Monday evening. Happy Pioneer Day to those of you who live in Utah. For those of you who don't live in Utah,
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Yeah.
I know it's a horrible way to spend 1/7 of your life. But,
It is.
Oh well.
Yeah, so because of the holiday, we're recording this a little later than we usually do. So we'll see how this goes as the night wears on.
It does sound like World War III is taking place outside.
It does,
right
yeah.
now.
There's fireworks going on all over the place. It doesn't help that I'm really close to a baseball field, just right down there.
They should give people in that like in the surrounding area like Cracker Jacks, free Cracker Jacks or something.
Or like free tickets or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a lot to talk about.
Just a few things.
Just a few things.
Yeah.
But first, we always love to start out with a list. And these are 15 cartoons you loved as a kid that actually suck.
You're about to ruin my childhood and everybody else that's listening. Troy.
We'll see. If you've seen them recently, say, hey, no, I saw recently. It's not that bad. We're starting out strong. Number 15, Adventures of the Gummi Bears.
What? No way. Bouncing here and bouncing everywhere. They are the Gummi Bears.
I know. Look,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I've seen it recently.
Yeah.
It doesn't hold up.
Really?
It really doesn't.
Dang
It's
it.
not as good as I remember.
And you know what? They missed a perfect opportunity to have gummy berry juice. I would have bought that.
Yeah,
I would
right?
have spent all my allowance on that.
I always thought that looked really good.
But I never got. I know. I wanted to jump around. It could have just had like a ton of sugar in it.
Yeah.
Like, wow, they're really hyper. Wow, they're bouncing. Yeah.
Just make Mountain Dew like purple, and there you go.
Thanks to these guys, I actually bought a pogo stick, or
Did
got
you?
one for Christmas. Same with my brothers. Yeah, we wanted to be the gummy bears.
All right. Which one was your favorite? I always liked that grumpy one myself.
Really?
Yeah,
Very
always
relatable.
Yeah, he was always my favorite.
I didn't. I can't say that I really had a favorite.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Number 14, the Berenstain Bears. Not the Bernstein Bears. Berenstain Bears. I don't remember ever watching this,
I don't either. I mean,
so we'll go ahead and skip that one.
I read the books,
Yeah,
like a ton of them.
Yeah, I read the books too.
And those are perfectly fine. But
Number 13 might cause some controversy here. Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
okay, blasphemy right there. That what the heck? I still know the music and everything.
Me too.
As soon as you say it, like I'm like playing it in my head. It's like dun 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 dun. Yeah.
I haven't watched that in a long time, so I don't know if it still holds up.
I feel like they're just trying to like ruin people's childhoods here.
That could be.
Yeah.
Number 12, Cops. And that's C.O.P.C. or S. I don't know how to spell cops, apparently. That's another one I never watched, but it looks really cheesy.
It does look pretty bad.
What is it? What did that stand for? Cops. Let's see. One of the more amusing naming coincidences came when the animated series Cops launched in 1988, just a year before the much more famous reality TV series Cops debuted. Despite Cops coming out first, they were the one who had to change their name due to the popularity of the reality TV show. In the 1990s, the show was called Cyber Cops. COPS stood for Central Organization of Police Specialists.
Wow.
All right. Number 11. Denver the Last Dinosaur. Never watched it.
Never watched it. I thought I watched a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, me too.
But...
It looks familiar. Like I've seen that dinosaur before, but no, I never watched it. All right. Number 10. As soon as my computer will click over. Number 10. Extreme Ghostbusters. That is painfully 90s. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Did I watch this one? I know I watched.
I did. I watched this
Did
one.
you? I watched the original one.
Right.
I don't remember watching Extreme Ghostbusters.
It was pretty similar, but...
All right. It looks like the style of that old Men in Black cartoon. Remember that?
Kind of like the thinner body style. Yeah.
Number 9. Fonz and the Happy Days Gang. Never saw that.
And I watched Happy Days. Like, I watched a ton of Happy Days.
I watched Happy Days too. I
didn't even know they had one.
Yep, never heard of that.
Probably only went like one season.
Number 8. G.I. Joe, a real American hero. I would agree with this.
Yeah? Is it pretty bad?
Honestly, it was never good as far as I'm concerned. Like, even as a kid, I was like, no, thanks.
I'm good.
I'll skip this.
You mean you had, like, more sophisticated palette?
I did.
For cartoons? You're like, not for me. No.
No thanks. I'll watch the highbrow things like, Animaniacs.
Yeah.
This G.I. Joe stuff. No. Number 7. Mighty Ducks. I did watch that one.
Yeah.
I remember being somewhat entertained.
It's cheesy and kind of campy, like, and they have to throw in random bad guys and always looking for like an opportunity to make some sort of a hockey reference or joke. So yeah, I'll give them that. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
All right. I thought it was kind of cool with the hockey mask that turned into the kind of a superhero.
That and they're shooting hockey pucks at people. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
So I could get on board with the concept, but yeah.
As for a story and
not so much.
Not so much.
Number 6, New Adventures of He-Man. Another one that I never saw.
Same here.
Moving on. Number 5, Pro Stars. Another one I never saw.
Yeah, it looks really familiar, but...
As famous as the Mighty Ducks were in the mid-1990s, Bo Jackson was a lot more famous in 1989-1990. Jackson played professional baseball for the Kansas City Royals and professional football for the Los Angeles Raiders. In 1989, Jackson made an all-star game in the MLB and Pro Bowl in the NFL. He also starred in a world-famous commercial for Nike called Bo Knows, making fun of his success at the two sports by expanding his expertise to basketball and hockey. The fame led to a short-lived TV series where Jackson, Jordan, and Gretzky fought crime. Wow.
I feel like I need to watch that just for that.
I think I might need to find it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Not only was the show terrible, but its timing was even worse, as it launched after Jackson suffered a hip injury that ruined his football career and eventually sunk his baseball career as well.
Oh, geez.
Number 4, the Quack Pack. I remember this, and yeah, it wasn't good.
It was not. So
they were
good.
trying to capitalize on the whole, 90s thing, and they wanted to bring, Donald and Huey, Louie, and Dewey into the 90s, so they gave them like longer hair and backwards baseball caps and stuff
they
like that.
They were cool.
Yeah.
With attitudes.
Ducks with attitudes. Quack You, man. Quack You. Number 3, Rambo, The Force of Freedom. I've heard of this.
Can't say I've seen it.
Never watched it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was not very good. Number 2, Shirt Tails. What? They're little creatures
Yeah.
with their names on their shirts. Okay, what's this about? We have to admit that the stars of Shirt Tails are absolutely adorable. This makes sense as they were actually invented by Hallmark for a series of greeting cards. Cute animals wearing shirts with cute slogans on them. That's adorable. However, since it was the 1980s, Hallmark thought to themselves, if action figures can be turned into cartoon shows, why not greeting card characters?
Oh yeah, that's a great segue. Okay. That works perfectly.
The resulting show was a bizarre action series starring the talking animals who work out of a headquarters in a tree in the park. They go out on missions in their high-tech ship that can turn into an airplane, submarine, or whatever they need. One of the members...
It sounds kind of like a lot like Rescue Rangers.
One of the members, Bogey Orangutan, also talks like Humphrey Bogart because, well, why not? The show actually lasted 2 seasons and reruns continued for even longer. The greeting cards ceased soon after the show ended. Wow. Number 1, Super Friends, Season 1. Something that people often forget about Super Friends is that while the show ran for many seasons, it was actually canceled after its first. This is not so surprising when you watch the first season and note that it is pretty terrible. The Alex Toth designs of the characters were excellent, but the action on the show was almost non-existent, and their teen sidekicks, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog, were extremely out of place. After a few years, during which the first season was still aired in reruns, the success of the superhero-themed live-action shows like Wonder Woman and $6 Million Man led to the show's return, only revamped to include better action and the Wonder Twins replacing Wendy and Marvin. This show is well remembered as the first attempt to have all of the Justice League together, but it opened up very poorly.
Yeah. I feel like on this segment, we definitely need to talk about some better cartoons that still hold up.
Still hold up?
Yeah. When you were reading this list, I automatically thought of Gargoyles.
Yes.
For sure. That one, like, visually, I mean, it had some, like, okay, cheesy moments, but visually, that one was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Obviously the Batman animated series.
Obviously.
Even
Superman.
Yeah, Superman animated series. I did recently watch Darkwing Duck.
Mm-hmm.
That's still good. That's still funny.
Let's get dangerous.
Except for that stupid little kid sidekick he has.
Yeah.
She just it's like nails on a chalkboard in my brain.
Yeah.
Her voice is just What else?
Mighty Max?
No.
What?
No.
Really?
No. I watched that one recently too.
Really?
Now, granted, it was just the first episode, just the pilot, so maybe it got better, but it was terrible.
I remember it being, man, I don't want, now I'm worried to go back and watch it.
I know.
Yeah.
What's my, Beast Wars.
Yes.
Transformers, that one still holds up.
I have them all on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they're still good.
Except for the 4th season. That just went bizarre.
Yeah, that got weird. Let's see, what are some others?
Well, see, it's weird because I think I watched more, now thinking about it, I think I watched more 90s cartoons than 80s cartoons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
sure.
Me too.
I watched, what is it? Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yes.
Cat Dog.
Yes.
2 Angry Beavers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of all those other ones.
Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that one show? Rocket Power.
Rocket Power.
Yeah.
Hey Arnold.
Oh yeah. No.
Rugrats.
Okay. Hey Arnold though. I went back and watched that. Yeah. It's not
Not
it's
so
not
good.
so good.
Same with Rugrats.
Mm-hmm.
Go back
Yeah.
and watch that one. Oh man, those are tough to get through
Right?
because the animation is really, really strange
Yeah.
and really shoddy.
Although Real Monsters still
It's
works.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of hit and miss on some of those.
yeah, yeah. But it looks like most of those were from the '80s,
Mm-hmm.
which not the best decade when it comes to cartoons. Also, there are many out there that would disagree.
Yeah.
But honestly, look, go back and watch them. Go back and watch He-Man. Go back and watch Thundercats,
I'm saying from
G.I.
like
Joe,
yeah.
Voltron.
90s into 2000s.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They were not. Generation X. Listen, your cartoons were not that good.
They were
I'm
not.
sorry.
Yeah.
Silverhawks? Are you kidding me? That show was ridiculous.
And now it's kind of funny because they're trying to bring these. Like, I feel like they missed their opportunity because now they're trying to reboot these franchises and make live action versions of them.
Yeah.
And hopefully try to get these fans. But, they're already in their like 40s and 50s and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And like, oh, it was kind of a dumb show. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. They've kind of moved on. All right.
As have we
As have we.
from this segment.
Yes. Which means we're going to go to an ad. When we come back, we got a lot of stories to get to. We got Game of Thrones, Doctor Doom,
Shazam.
Harry Potter, and Daniel Radcliffe.
Whoa.
Both of them.
Whoa.
So we'll be right back right after this. And we're back. All right.
Before we get to this, we were talking off the air. We were talking about your first.
My first voiceover audition.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. If you've been listening to the podcast last month or so, you know that I've signed up with this talent agency to do voiceover work.
And at first, it did sound kind of sketchy.
It did.
Well, at least to me, they just like pick you out. They're like, "Hey, you look like you could model." Like, wait, what?
Yeah. So I've been with them now probably close to a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep getting auditions. They
Yeah.
keep sending me auditions, but not voiceover auditions.
Oh man.
They keep sending me on camera stuff. So I'm
And
like,
you're more of a behind the scenes kind of
I
guy.
am. I don't have any interest doing on camera stuff.
Plus the face.
I have a face for voiceover.
Only a mother could love.
Yeah, I have a perfect face for voiceover. So they finally sent me an audition, voiceover audition. Oh, great! I saw this when I was in Park City, working, doing my job. But I got the email at like 2:08,
Mm-hmm.
and they needed stuff in by 2:00. So I'm like, crap. So I email my agent,
Yeah.
my
wow.
agent.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And I'm like, hey, if I can still get this in, I can record something real quick, send it off. So I'm waiting. She finally sends me a response and says, I need this right away, but if you can get it in, I can still send it off.
Right.
I'm like, okay, awesome,
Sweet.
great. And I have an app where I can do a voice recording on my phone. And she sent me the script, and she said, you have to be active LDS. Great, check. You have to be able to do a deep, resonating voice. Great, check. I can do that. Then she said, "Oh, can you sound African American?"
You're like, sister, please.
I'm like,
Word.
yes, yes.
So where did you draw your inspiration from?
Well,
Channeled your inner Will Smith,
no, they said that
Morgan Freeman,
the character
Denzel Washington.
was drawn as a black man, but he was also British.
Okay.
So I went with Idris Elba because he's actually British.
From the upcoming Dark Tower
Yes.
movie.
So I went kind of low and kind of like this.
But this is like first read through, and then you have to just
Yeah.
send.
Well, that was the problem. Okay, so I had the script on my phone. I'm like, well, crap, I can't read the script and record at the same time. But I had my work phone,
Mm-hmm.
so I pull off the freeway onto this little trucker stop, basically. And
You didn't have any weird looks, did you?
and so I have my phone in my
And he's like, here, I know a way you can make $250.
yeah, right. I have my phone in my right hand and my work phone in my left hand, and I'm recording on my phone while reading it off my work phone, constantly pushing the screen so it didn't go dark on me.
I really wish you had a third phone that you could record this.
I know, right?
That would have been awesome.
It was ridiculous. And then I had to figure out, and kids don't do this. I was driving at the time while trying to send this voice recording off. And the first time I ever used the app, so I was, fumbling around with it. First I sent her, I think, an MP4. I'm like, oh crap, that's not going to work. Then I figured out how to convert it to MP3, all while driving at the same time, by the way.
That's talent.
So then I finally sent it off. Yeah, I didn't get the part.
Oh,
but
dang it.
But it was quite a little adventure there.
But now you can check that off your bucket list, and hopefully you'll get quite a few more. The first one's the hardest, right?
That's true. You never get your first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can check that off my bucket list now. I auditioned for professional voiceover job. Check.
That is pretty sweet.
Okay.
So, speaking of African Americans, there is, with Game of Thrones entering its final and shortest season, showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss are now working on on ideas beyond the world of ice and fire. HBO announced today that the pair have gotten a series ordered for a drama called Confederate. The series will be set in an alternate America where the southern states successfully seceded from the Union. Slavery persists into the modern era, and the country is on the brink of a third civil war. According to
third civil war,
right? I was like, wait,
there only been one
world civil war. Yeah, that's pretty peculiar. So perhaps it takes place right as the ending of a second civil war, and that's when they, succeeded from the Union.
Okay,
I'm not exactly sure. Huh. According to HBO announcement, Benioff and Wes have been working on this idea for years. Initially intended to developing it into a featured film. Let's see. In a statement, it said to HBO, it was the right place to take the concept. Our experience of Thrones has convinced us that no one provides a bigger, better storytelling canvas than HBO. This actually has kind of potential. The series will explore the tensions between the United States and the Confederate States of America, with characters, living on either side of what's known as the Mason-Dixon demilitarized zone. The cast will feature freedom fighters, journalists, and of course slaves and slave owners. And they've got a pretty decent group that they'll be working with. I'm not familiar with other people's with their work from The Good Wife and Empire.
Yeah,
but seems like it has potential. That's
gonna cause some controversy.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Right. When there's already unrest in America.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe it's the right time to do it.
Right.
I'm certainly intrigued. And
I think that they have because they've done Game of Thrones, and that's all about these different kingdoms and everybody jockeying for position to be the rightful heir and to take over. So I'm seeing some parallels and drawing some there's similarities between the two. So I think it could work. I'm sure they've got a huge budget for it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure those guys can do whatever they want at this point.
Right?
All right, well, we'll have to check that out. So, what is going to be DCEU's next film? Will it be Man of Steel 2? No. Will it be Wonder Woman 2? No. Solo Batman movie? No. No, it's going to be Shazam.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Right? The next DCEU film to enter production will be Shazam. Thanks to our friends at The Hollywood Reporter, we know that director David F. Sandberg's film will begin shooting in early 2018 for release in 2019. Shazam follows young orphan Billy Batson, who gains the power of the living lightning and becomes the hero Shazam. Originally, the character was called Captain Marvel, but you can imagine the licensing issues that DC ran into there. After the success of the extremely hopeful and positive Wonder Woman, it appears DC will be leaning a bit further into its lighter side. Since Shazam is a kid in the body of a near god, we hope to see some of the childlike wonder and glee that would come with a kid attaining superhuman abilities. The Wonder Woman comparison goes further than that, though, as Shazam's power comes from various mythical gods and heroes, such as Zeus, Ares, and Hercules. Can you say team-up movie? Maybe we'll see Wonder Woman mentor the young hero, much like the relationship between Iron Man and Spider-Man Homecoming. We do not know yet if Dwayne Johnson will appear to play villain Black Adam in the film. Actually, there's been an update, and no, he will not appear.
He's too busy with Jumanji.
Yeah, he's got other things to do. He is cast to play Black Adam, though, the villain, so we'll see, but
maybe that'll be a big reveal, like a teaser trailer.
Yeah. This...
I actually have come to really like Shazam, the character and the concept and
I like
the idea.
him too.
Like this little kid that has crazy powers. It's very similar to kind of like a Spider-Man. You know, you give this teenage kid like crazy superhuman powers, and he's bound to make mistakes and I don't know, run into a lot of issues.
But he looks like an adult. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Yeah.
When he says Shazam, he turns into a full-fledged adult.
That's like that movie, what, Big?
Yeah.
Kind of a deal. Which that one...
Tom Hanks is Shazam.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but that one was like kind of interesting, that movie Big, just because he was going to like sleep with that lady. Or did he? I can't remember.
I think he might have, actually.
Yeah. She slept with a minor.
Yeah, well, you know, that has we could do a whole show on the implications of the movie Big. But what I was going to say was this is quite a gamble for them doing Shazam, because he's not, I mean, he's been around forever, but he doesn't have the name recognition like Batman or Superman or Wonder Woman.
Right.
So, and DC
will that play a little bit in their favor because of not everybody's so familiar with the mythos, so they won't be quite so critical? But at the same time, okay, I get the difference because with the Marvel universe, they had built up, you know, hey, we can do a decent movie. So now let's try our hand at like Doctor Strange.
They build up a big
Ant-Man,
reputation. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we like before those movies came out, we're like, okay, prove us wrong. This one could make or break them, and they did it perfectly fine. And
see, that's what I'm getting to. DC doesn't have that reputation yet. Mm-hmm. They've had one good film.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so to then all of a sudden start going into your B and C level characters,
unless you bring an A character as far as like a celebrity.
Yeah, I mean,
but even then,
it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough sell for DC. Because I mean, Marvel, you know, like you were saying, they did Doctor Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man, and they were huge successes because they had a massive reputation behind them.
Right.
So they could do that, but DC doesn't quite have that.
They don't have that firepower just yet.
Yeah, sure. Don't release the Flash or Aquaman or Green Lantern. You know, heroes that people know.
Mm-hmm.
comic book fans and non-comic book fans alike know Shazam. Which most people would know, older people would know as Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Because it's just recently that they changed his name to Shazam. So, anyway.
We shall see.
From one potential bad movie to another, Doctor Doom movie in development at 20th Century Fox. That's right. 20th Century Fox is trying again with the Fantastic Four. A Doctor Doom film is in development at 20th Century Fox with Legion showrunner Noah Hawley. Hawley broke the news Thursday evening during his show's Comic-Con International San Diego panel. He said, "I'll just say 2 words. The first one is Doctor, and the next one is Doom," Hawley said. Sources tell...
Nobody claps. They goes completely dead.
Yeah,
silence. Crickets.
Oh no.
Doctor Doom.
Just one person in the back. That's gonna suck. Sources tell THR that Hawley is developing the film with an eye to direct. And that's all we know so far. My question is, why? Why the heck are you trying this again?
Mm-hmm.
You failed at it now twice.
3 times, right? Because we had Silver Surfer.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But I'm talking about like the actual Doctor Doom.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially give it to somebody that can actually do a decent movie.
Yeah.
Right?
And how about you actually have the character look like Doctor Doom?
For once, yeah.
For once. Crazy idea, I know.
Pretty novel concept.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not gonna work.
How about a movie that has a little bit more potential?
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of Del Toro's work.
Indeed.
Yes. The first trailer, The Shape of Water, is here, and the show, and let's see, and it shows the director going back to his dark fantasy roots. The trailer starts with voiceover asking, "If there was a tale about her, the princess without a voice, what would I say?" The narrator seems to be referring to Elisa, a mute woman who works with her friend Zelda at a Cold War era government facility. She stumbles upon some kind of a... Have you had a chance to watch this by chance?
I have, yes.
Okay. She stumbles upon some kind of an Aquaman creature in the lab, developed an immediate friendship with it. Much to the fury of the supervisor, played by Michael Shannon, who does not understand sign language and appears to love yelling. From what I can see, and I don't know, this is kind of a little bit of a gamble, just because it is darker, but at the same time, I feel like just from the trailer alone, we already know what the whole story is about. They've already revealed just about everything.
Yeah.
With some of his other ones, you kind of, like with Pan's Labyrinth, you just got kind of a glimpse of these different things. Didn't know what it was about going into it, and then we're pleasantly surprised. This one, they almost had to reveal too much to sell it to people.
Right, yeah.
It does, however, and I will be seeing it just for the sheer fact alone that Doug Jones, who also played Abe in Hellboy and played Slender Man in that Slender adaptation.
Whom you have met.
I have. He is the nicest dude ever. I didn't, he was one of the first celebrities that I met, and when I walked up to him and started talking to him, he's like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Doug." And he didn't come across as arrogant or anything at all. And then he's just I'm a huge fan of your work. We started talking about different movies, and then he's just like, "Oh, can I get a picture with you?" I'm like, "What?" Sure, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
So we got a picture together. I'll probably have to throw it back up on Facebook for Throwback Thursday. But he was the nicest dude ever. What was your initial take from this trailer?
It looks like almost a spiritual successor to the Hellboy movies.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very much in that same type of vein.
Right.
Because it is Guillermo del Toro.
Right.
And it looks really interesting. It looks really intriguing. This is, I don't think he's drawing from any particular established story.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like this is an original piece, and it looks pretty interesting.
It does, yeah.
I like the fact that there's a mute woman who gains a friendship with this underwater creature, and it's like a thriller / romance.
Mm-hmm.
A thrillmance, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It looks pretty interesting. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it does. We'll have to see.
Yeah, it has me intrigued for sure. We've learned recently, and we saw Creed, which was good.
Oh, it was great. I really liked that one.
Me too.
It really invoked the feels, especially when they started playing like the Rocky theme song and just going into that final fight. And not gonna lie, it just like gets you pumped up, and like ready to want to punch something.
Well, Creed 2 is in the works, and Ivan Drago is confirmed for Creed 2 as Stallone finishes the script. Of course, Drago goes from Rocky 4. Who most people say is probably the best Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Although I did like the last. What was the last one that he did? Was it just called Balboa? Wasn't it, or just
before Creed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His later years.
Yeah,
that one was actually pretty dang good.
I
where he's kind of where he's running the bar. He had a lot of success, but kind of like, I don't know, not squandered the money, but just kind of like eventually, after so many years, it's gonna run out. Yeah. So he's just running that bar and kind of training.
In a new Instagram post, Rocky creator Sylvester Stallone, excuse me. Sorry, my computer's acting up again. Hang on.
I still kind of find it kind of interesting that Stallone is directing these movies. I mean, he knows them best, knows the character like inside and out, but it still seems kind of. I can only imagine him with like the storyboard where it's like, we want to get a little bit, and then something like this and a punch. That's.
Leave the impressions to me. Leave the voices to me.
Oh man.
In a new Instagram post, Rocky creator Sylvester Stallone confirmed several things about MGM's in development Creed 2. For one, that he himself has written the full script, or at least that will serve as the basis for the script, after Ryan Coogler and Aaron Covington wrote the last one by themselves. Second, he has solidified what many assumed for a while, which is that Dolph Lundgren's Ivan Drago, and probably his offspring, will be involved in a big bloody battle with Adonis Creed in the ring.
Yeah, I'm for sure gonna go see this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. Okay. Let's take another break, and when we come back, we got some more stories to talk about. Still got Harry Potter and Daniel Radcliffe and Walking Dead and all kinds of good stuff. So we'll be back right after this.
Are you feeling nostalgic about your music listening needs?
Do you like the tonal quality that only a record can provide?
Then go check out Lavender Vinyl, located at 123 25th Street, Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, go talk to Kylie or Blake. They have a large selection of new and used records. They will also buy your old records, maybe the ones that are just sitting up there in the attic, gathering dust. And if you can't find anything, they'll be more than happy to pre-order it for you. Now, you can always find them at lavendervinyl@gmail.com. You can also check out their website, lavendervinyl.com, or give them a call on the phone, like a normal person, at 385-240-0336.
Be sure to tell them that World War G sent you. Now back to the episode.
And we're back. Okay. Speaking of trailers, another trailer, right?
Yes. Bright. The first trailer for a Netflix most expensive original film to date has premiered at San Diego Comic-Con. Bright, from Suicide Squad and End of Watch director David Ayer, is a fantasy epic starring Will Smith as a human cop and Joel Edgerton as some kind of a orc cop.
Mm-hmm.
The film takes place in an alternate version of the present day that also involves elves and fairies. Regardless of your feelings about the man at the helm here, this is likely to be a huge movie for Netflix. Then it kind of goes on a little bit further, but like the part that I find kind of interesting is where it says like Smith also helped to finance the film through his production company, Overbrook Entertainment, which has backed the majority of his films since Wild Wild West back in 1999. Have you did get a chance to watch this trailer, right?
I'm watching it right now as we speak.
Okay. To me, it kind of reminds me of Men in Black meets Bad Boys, more or less.
Yeah, there was an old show called Alien Nation back in the early 90s. And it reminds me a lot of that because the premise was that there was aliens had landed. They had started living together with humans. And the two main characters was a human cop and an alien cop.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, what I kind of find interesting about this is because $100 million, that's not chump change, but that's
right.
like an okay amount to spend on a movie.
Sure.
But like the thing that like makes it so interesting is that it's backed by Netflix. They're branching out. Like typically they're known for dropping a whole season of something and letting you binge watch it, where they're spending that same amount of money that they would on like that type of a TV show in just a single movie.
Yeah. This looks like they're getting into like full-fledged blockbuster type movies,
Caliber movies. Yeah. And I don't know if this should be the one to kick it off, but at least they've got a pretty decent like big star.
Yeah.
You know?
And that'll be another one I watch, just to
watch.
Yeah.
They've dropped a couple of pretty good movies as of late, like on Netflix, but for the most part, they're typically known for TV shows.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Will Smith's like he almost has to do like the M. Night Shyamalan where he has to pay for it himself. It's like no, please let me be in another movie. Like here. Well,
look, I'll just do this whole thing myself, guys.
Yeah, I'll just pay for it. Well, no, actually, he doesn't say it like that. He's just like, I'll have this one company I know. I'll talk to them and see if they'll back us.
Yeah.
And like, oh wow, he knows people. Yeah, no big deal or anything.
All right. Harry Potter.
Yes.
Do I have your attention?
You did. You had me at Harry. What? Hello? I don't know.
Harry Potter fans rejoice. More books will be released this fall. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the original publication of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which is the first book, which the first book was named when published in the UK. Apparently, one of the books will be titled Harry Potter: A History of Magic. The book of the exhibition, which will walk readers through some of the actual subjects studied by students at Hogwarts, and then Harry Potter: A Journey Through a History of Magic will explore elements of the magical universe like witchcraft and alchemy. Finally, the third book to come out this fall is an edition of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is illustrated. It's said to be released October 3rd, 2017.
I'm all for her capitalizing on this type of things, but it gets to a point where it's like, let sleeping dogs lie kind of a deal.
And if you're going to do this, just write a full-fledged, another Harry Potter book.
Right.
You know, all this study guides you're doing and that type of thing.
Yeah, you might find a couple of interesting, like, new tidbits that you didn't know about the series. And be like, oh, I didn't realize such and such character had this kind of an interesting backstory. But for the most part, they're only kind of expanding on what we already know.
Yeah.
It's not...
Yeah. I mean, just write another Harry Potter book.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what the fans want.
That's what the fans want.
We don't want to play. We don't want, like...
No, we don't.
We don't want more, like, I don't know. Just do a full book.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like you're going towards that point anyway, so just freaking do it.
No, she's going to wait until, like, 30 years down the road.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And be like, hey, by the way, remember Harry Potter? Oh, but it'll still be a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah. It'll be like Star Wars. It's not going away.
No. So, speaking of Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe.
That was the easiest segue we've ever had.
It really was. When we were putting these stories together, it's like, oh, let's do Harry Potter, and then Harry Potter.
There you go.
Boom. Easy enough. Daniel Radcliffe rushes into aid of a tourist who was slashed in the face by muggers riding a moped. I seriously almost read that as muggles. Like,
yeah.
Faced by muggles. Like, dang those muggles. Yeah. Radcliffe, age 27, was in a group of people who helped a victim who was in his 50s after he was attacked in Chelsea. The man was in the UK for a short holiday and was targeted for his Louis Vuitton bag, which the thieves took from him. Witness David Vidicel, a former policeman who worked with Met Police counter-terrorist unit, told the Evening Standard they grappled with him, the victim, on the pavement. He was not going to give up his bag willingly. I tried to ram the bike with my car, but I wasn't able to. I imagine, okay, they're fighting it out, and then, like, he goes to hit the bike, but, like, misses it or something because he doesn't want to hit the victim.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, it's kind of a weird, like, they're putting together a weird story here. Let's see. They slashed him in the face with a knife and made off down King's Road. I tried to follow them, but I lost them as they were jumping red lights. The witness called the police moments after one of the thugs pulled a knife and started attacking the helpless victim. He also spoke of how Daniel Radcliffe was quick to help. He told the paper he was really a nice bloke. A lot of stars wouldn't have stopped to help. The victim was very, very shaken up. The spokesman for the Met Police said police were called at approximately 6:10 p.m. on Friday, July 14th, to report a robbery in Houndstone Road. The victim, a man aged 50, was walking in the road when two people riding a moped snatched his bag before riding off. The victim suffered a cut to the face during the incident. A spokesman for Daniel Radcliffe confirmed the Evening Standard that he was at the scene.
This is the most English, the most British story,
right?
I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, seriously. Down King's Road.
It was down King's Road, and they slashed him in the face and took his Louis Vuitton bag, and then they were gone in the night, jumping red lights and whatnot. Luckily, Daniel Radcliffe was there. Apparently, he was a very nice bloke. Stayed with the victim.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be pretty awesome? Okay, you just get slashed in the face, and you, like, you know, blood dripping down your face, and you look up to see Harry Potter.
Am I dying? Is this
he's
heaven?
Like, no, he's like, seriously, am I dying? He's like, do you know some sort of incantation or something to, like, save me?
He's like, no, I'm not actually a wizard, right?
It's like, you're a wizard, Harry. Like, Although,
It's like, yeah, I'm not helping you, man. Bye.
oh yeah. See,
I changed my mind.
as he's like taking pictures and selfies with the guy that's like hurt, for publicity's sake. To me, a little bit, I'm always skeptical when it talks about like a celebrity stepping in, because they always make him sound like they do a lot more.
Yeah.
Not to like downplay anything that he does,
I get
but
it.
like I automatically think that they were just kind of like, they happen to be there and like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, are you okay? Okay, all right, well, take it easy, kind of a deal, And also they play up the incident to make it sound like it's a lot rough, like, I don't know, crazier thing that happened, because he suffered a slight, like a cut below his eye.
Suffered a slight cut on his face.
It was like no bigger than a paper cut, kind of a deal.
And the vandals rode off on mopeds after stealing the man's Louis Vuitton bag.
And the dude didn't even like, I don't know, there was a former police officer, wasn't even able to stop him.
Yeah. Fortunately, Harry Potter was on the scene. I mean, it is the most British story I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it's fantastic though.
The only thing would be better if after he took the victim, to someplace to get
butterbeer
or fish and chips or something.
Fish and chips, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay. The Walking Dead comic book. One question has always lingered in the back of the minds of the fans of The Walking Dead comic. How is Robert Kirkman ever going to end this story?
Even he doesn't know.
Well, did he even have any sort of idea of how to conclude the saga of Rick Grimes and the group of survivors? Well, at San Diego Comic-Con this year, Kirkman told fans that he has an ending in mind and is actively directing the story towards its final chapter. He's not releasing an official date yet of when the series will end, but he's been carefully steering his series towards that ending. However, though Kirkman said he's got an ending in sight, he's made it clear on Twitter that he's not ending up the series right now. We reported earlier, and this is Nerdist, we reported earlier he was actively wrapping up the series, but fans can breathe a sigh of relief. Kirkman's clarification explains he just knows where he's ultimately taking the series. But who knows how far away that final moment could be. The idea for the series' conclusion came to him 2 or 3 years ago and has helped him as he continues to craft storylines. After all, The Walking Dead is an incredibly intricate series with lots of complicated storylines and character arcs. With so much story left to tell, it could take a while for him to decide he is ready to wrap up the hit comic book series. Plus, the fact that it's a hit TV show probably has something to do with that fact.
Just maybe just a little bit.
I'm sure he's raking in the millions on this TV show. It's like, maybe we can continue the comic a little further.
It's headed in that direction.
Yeah.
To me, it's getting to the point where I'm ready to see. I want like kind of a conclusion. It's nice, like with Game of Thrones, where I'm like, oh, okay, 2 more seasons.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. Like, it's understandable. I can see all these different story arcs coming together and getting closure to things. And I'm perfectly cool with that. But where you still don't know with this one,
Yeah.
I'm too far invested not to watch it. But, and I know that the book series, the comic books are much better, but
Yeah.
that's a lot to undertake if you're going to be starting from the beginning.
Yeah.
Plus, I already feel like I would know a lot what was going on, and it wouldn't be that big of a surprise. Like
Sure.
these big reveals, when you're introduced to some of these bigger characters. So, I don't know. Do you have any type of idea of what you would like to see the ending?
I want them all dead.
Yeah, they just all die.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I think that's where the series is headed. Everybody's going to die.
Yeah.
Because this has been, the comic and the TV show, such a bleak, depressing series that there's no way people find a happy ending. There is no way.
Yeah.
I can't see the series wrapping up in a nice, happy little bow. I mean, it just...
That, or they pull kind of like a Lost or something, and he was actually just in the... I know we've reported that that's not the case, but he was just in a coma the whole entire time. Yeah. He just wakes up in the hospital. It's like, oh, yeah.
It was all a dream. Yeah.
Man, I would go all like Negan on somebody's ass if that happened, if that was the case. Like that would just piss me off to no end.
Go knocking on Robert Kirkman's door with a bat.
Yeah.
Wrapped
Lucille's thirsty.
Yeah. Come on out, Kirkman.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Flash, Season 4. There have been trailers of both The Flash Season 4 and Arrow Season 5. So if you want to check those out, you can. One of those looks really good.
Can you guess which one?
Yeah, I can guess.
One of these things are not like the other.
The Flash adds Danny Trejo to Season 4 cast. If you're looking for an actor to play a take-no-nonsense character for your comic book television show, they don't come any better than Danny Trejo. This is probably why the CW has decided to add the actor to the cast of Season 4 of The Flash. The news came down from Warner Brothers television panels at San Diego Comic-Con, but that wasn't the only casting announcement to get fans buzzing. We also got a rundown of additions to Supergirl, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, The Flash, and Arrow. While the characters these actors are playing is still under wraps, we at least know who to look forward to seeing next in our favorite superheroes. Supergirl will add a fellow superpowered being in Heroes Adrian Pasdar, Carl Lumley of Alias fame, Jane the Virgin's Yale Groblis, and Emma Tremblay of Elysium for its third season. Neil McDonough's Damien Dark gets bumped up to a series regular on DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Additional mainstays Arthur Darvill and Wentworth Miller returning as recurring characters, much to the delight of fans. Freshman series Black Lightning will add James Reamer and Damon Gupton in unspecified roles. Trejo headlines The Flash for Season 3, which I think is actually Season 4, alongside the 100's Neil Sandilands and Dominion's Kim Engelbrecht. While we don't know the roles, we are told that they will be challenging Team Flash, so it's a safe bet they are playing antagonists. Finally, Arrow will see Michael Emerson of Lost join as a recurring character, and everyone's favorite Russian mob boss, Anatoly Knyazov, will also pop up on Season 6. So there you go.
This one I have started watching. I'm into the second season already.
The Flash?
Yeah. I'm catching up slowly, making my way. The other show that I have been watching, I know we've talked about this before, Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
It's worth watching, Dre.
Is it?
It's pretty dang funny. Yeah, it's kind of clever.
You know, I've kind of stayed away from it because I don't want to be one of those bandwagon type of people.
Uh-huh.
But
I figured with the
know.
third season coming out soon, I might as well give it a try. And it's actually got some like really modern, even from the first season, it's got some really modern like references, and it's pretty dang clever.
Maybe, all right. Maybe I'll give it a chance. I mean, it's kind of almost, you said before, maybe our civic duty to watch shows like this. So.
Yeah.
All right. I'll give it a chance, I guess. All right. Let's take our third and final break. And when we come back, we got trailers, man. We got a lot of trailers that dropped from Comic-Con.
That and also a movie review.
Yes. So we're going to be talking all that right after this.
Thanks, Troy. Hi, everybody. This is Sean Ray.
And John Irons.
And we're the hosts of Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast. We're a show that has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, we talk about movies and TV and cartoons, entertainment news, and every show has a different theme.
That's right. We might discuss anything from our favorite bad movies to who would win in a fight between C-3PO and the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that was episode 41, a classic. You can download that episode and all of our other episodes on iTunes and Stitcher. We're on Podcast Addict and, of course, on our website, cosmicpotato.com.
It's special guests and movie news and geeky nerddom and nerdy geekery and lightsabers and Time Lords and Ninja Turtles all the way down. So check out Cosmic Potato, the Super Fan Talk podcast.
And we're back. All right. Trailers.
There were
Holy cow.
so many of them and some awesome ones.
So we're going to talk about a few, and you can find all these posted on our Facebook page. First one I want to talk about, and I don't know if you watched this, but it's the Star Trek Discovery trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very, and I call it a very un-Star Trek series
Mm-hmm.
because it seems very action-packed.
Right.
It seems like it's kind of in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek universe.
Where it's updated, modernized.
Mhm.
But they're taking some Star Trek, characters and kind of making their own.
Yeah. And I guess, this takes place before, Captain Kirk and all that. And it looks pretty good. As a almost lifelong Star Trek fan, I can say that they have
Actually got you excited?
Yes.
Again?
yes.
Which they hadn't been able to do since the first Star Trek one that the J.J. Abrams did.
Yeah.
Right?
And with the series, one of the biggest problems with the series is that, a problem that a lot of people had, is that there was so much talking, not enough action,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what kept a lot of people away from Star Trek, is that it seemed boring.
Right.
It's not, if you watch it, but it seemed that way. And this looks like it's action packed, and it looks intriguing. It looks very Star Trekian. They got Klingons and Vulcans and warp speed. What else do you need, really?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that one. I'll definitely be watching that one. Another one that came out that you just watched, Stranger Things Season 2.
Oh man, that I can't help. As I was watching this one, trailer, I couldn't help but smile. I'm just like, this is so sick. Especially when they dropped the Thriller soundtrack in it. It fits so perfectly because you've got him just looking. He's looking out and there's this Cthulhu-looking creature. Oh man, it looks pretty gnarly. That and Levin's back.
Mm-hmm.
And she's managed to somehow work her way back into our world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It looks great.
Yeah,
I'm so stoked for it.
Next thing you got more 80s goodness.
Oh, yeah. There was a ton. Okay. It reminded me a lot of kind of Goonies, and you've got some Nightmare on Elm Street vibes going on. And I don't know. There was quite a few other different, references, kind of similar to what they did with the first one, but they managed to outdo themselves. This looks awesome.
Speaking of 80s goodness, 80s nostalgia, Ready Player One trailer. I've just started reading the book.
That's an oxymoron right there.
I know, right?
Troy and books.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me. It's so far it's really freaking good.
One of those books you didn't want to put down?
Mm-hmm. I'm 6 chapters in, and I just started the book yesterday.
Oh, wow. Okay. So far, worth the read?
Yes.
Okay.
But this trailer, I don't know how they did it. Maybe it was because of the star power the power of Steven Spielberg. But you have the Iron Giant in it.
Yeah.
You have the DeLorean in it. You have Harley Quinn, Deathstroke, Freddy Krueger, orcs.
Yeah. Everything. They were dropping everything on this trailer.
I don't know how they managed to get all those companies to agree to this, but
they did.
Hey, what? That's cool,
right? That and okay. He was talking the main character, because he's born in 2025, and he said that they're kind of the lost generation, but not because they're actually non-existent.
Yeah.
But they are, because I imagine that they're always just in this virtual reality.
Yeah, not to give too much away, but the world that this guy lives in, Wade, it's a world where, I mean, the energy has been depleted. Fossil fuels, all that stuff is gone.
Right.
The world's overpopulated
And continually growing.
and continually growing. Yep. He lives in what's called the stacks, where they take a bunch of motorhomes, stack them on top of each other.
It looks like that scene from like Slumdog Millionaire a little bit.
Yeah.
But only more futuristic.
Yeah. And so pretty much the entire population of the world, their only escape is this virtual reality world called the Oasis, where you can go and live, basically. You can travel
Spend
to
your
different...
whole entire life just in this other alternate universe.
You can travel to different planets.
Which, that's actually, I think, seriously, with this VR that they're introducing, that's the direction we're headed already. I've watched one of my favorite animes that I really like, the series. It's called Sword Art Online, about these kids that go into virtual reality, and as they're in there, they can't exit out of the game. If they do, they're dead, and if they die in the game, they're dead as well.
Yeah.
But it just seems like that's kind of the direction we're headed as far as like VR goes.
Yes.
That we can spend our whole life there. It's like taking Warcraft and Starcraft and WoW to the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, this kid, the schools have become so overpopulated that in the Oasis, you can go to school
Right.
in virtual reality.
Yeah.
And so I think, next 10, 15, 20 years, that will be absolutely the case.
Right. A teacher giving a lecture and you just like sit at home watching it.
Mm-hmm. But now having read part of the book and the trailer is like, that's pretty much what I pictured in my mind.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It's pretty spot on.
The Defenders. Another trailer that dropped. Of course, the Defenders finally being the team up of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks pretty action-packed, it seems.
They didn't really give too much away. You've got
No.
Stan Lee kind of driving along, talking about them. But you really didn't see too much of Iron Fist.
Not a lot.
No.
Which,
I don't know. I'm
sense.
perfectly okay with.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hopefully they show him actually doing kung fu occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks good. It looks like there's a lot of again, good action, good team up action. This is kind of been
What it's all been building towards.
Yeah, what's all been building towards. Exactly. So if you're a fan of those Netflix shows, check that out.
And if you haven't seen any of them, just check out Daredevil.
Yeah, watch Daredevil season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The others,
Luke Cage was all right.
Luke Cage was
and
pretty
Jessica
good.
Jones,
it's like Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist,
right.
as far as good quality shows. The next one of the bigger ones, Thor Ragnarok trailer.
Man. This one is a team up of basically Thor. I mean, it looks like he's teaming up with Loki. He's teaming up with the Hulk. He's teaming up with all these other guys to take on what's the villain? What's her name?
Hela.
Hela.
Mm-hmm.
It looks awesome, and by far, so I saw the first trailer for it. And I'm like, oh man, this looks great. Especially you see that end scene where the Hulk comes busting in and Thor's all excited to see him. I'm like, how are they going to make a better trailer? They managed to outdo themselves, especially with the Hulk talking.
Yes.
Say what? And we were talking about this before, off the air, that there was some sort of a theory behind this.
Yeah. Apparently at this point, when the movie takes place, the Hulk has not been Bruce Banner in 2 years. He's not transformed into Bruce Banner in 2 years. So my theory was that Bruce Banner is still in there. His mind is still there.
Right.
So that slowly the Hulk's brain is starting to evolve.
Integrate, kind of
Yeah.
mesh together.
Yeah, mesh together with Banner's. To the point where he has basic speech.
Which makes perfect sense because it would be kind of difficult as a human to survive in this environment, this rough, environment. So you'd almost have to stay into Hulk form.
Yeah.
But to me, this means that now the Hulk he's going to be able to do a lot more and not be quite so limited, not just go into this crazy rage, that he can actually like have some thoughts and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't attack these guys, or maybe I should do this thing instead. Or it's kind of an interesting angle to go with the Hulk.
But no, it looks it looks really good. It looks like there's gonna be massive battles. I'm actually excited about a Thor movie. It actually looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's good to see Loki again.
Right.
It
did seem kind of interesting that he was like tied up on the floor.
Chained up.
Chained up with some sort of thing.
Rather
than being in like some sort of a cell is what I'm meaning. You'd think you'd almost have to go down to this like dark dungeon to like locate him.
Yeah. Well, it almost seems like Loki is on the same planet that Thor and the Hulk were on. Mm-hmm. This gladiatorial planet, whatever it might be.
Right.
It seemed like he was there too. I don't know. Because, the last time we saw Loki, he had taken over as Odin.
Right.
And then there was that scene in Doctor Strange at the very end where he was talking to Thor, which is kind of setting up Thor Ragnarok. I guess Doctor Strange will be in Thor Ragnarok. They go to Earth sometime, apparently.
Right.
In that movie to find Odin or whatever.
Which I really like. This is one of the few movies that I'm thinking about. We don't know a story yet.
No.
Like, we've kind of get a reason for them to fight and to team up, but we don't have we can't connect all the pieces. Typically with a lot of these other movies that we've seen, especially with Marvel ones, we've been able to be like, okay, it looks like it's this to this to this. You're still kind of in the dark, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one that got people excited, there was a new Justice League trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I was still on the fence with this one, but I think I'm leaning more towards, okay, that doesn't look so bad.
Yeah.
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 Looks like it has a little bit of a lighter tone, a bit more humor in it, which is good. Which looks like a lot of it's going to come from The Flash and Aquaman. But you see, it looks like a lot of the Earth has been taken over by what looks like parademons, and Steppenwolf is the big bad guy. And it looks like what you want in a Justice League movie. There's a lot of battles, a lot of team ups, and humor, DC.
Mm-hmm.
Finally,
right? They've always been like
a little
more
lightheartedness,
broody, dark side to it. So it's nice and refreshing to see this other lighter side of them.
You get to see J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. So it looks like they're really starting to open up the universe a bit more.
Right. So then that seems so peculiar to me that their next one's going to be Shazam.
Right?
That makes no sense. Ride that wave of if you do an awesome movie with this one,
Yeah. It's like, okay, going back to Marvel, in Marvel terms, it's like you do Iron Man,
right,
and then Captain America, and then Civil War, and then all of a sudden you're doing Ant-Man. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah. They don't even know what's going on. Not only that, I still am kind of interested to see how he gets them together so quickly, because that's got to happen within 20 minutes at most.
You'd think, yeah,
because you don't want to spend the bulk of the movie introducing them just for a battle.
Yeah. So
they have not done a good job of introducing other characters, like in Suicide Squad.
No, they have not. Yeah, that's
my one reservation. I'm still gonna go see it, of course.
Yeah,
but
my reservation is it still looks so dark.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking tone. I mean literally, it looks dark. It's like, where is the sun in this world?
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't exist in the DC movies. There is no sun.
Well, Batman lurks in the shadows.
It's true.
So, although at the very end of it, did you see what he did? Where he's like, "Oh, we thought you were kind of, or it's like we thought you were dead, or like glad to see you back."
Mm-hmm.
Superman's back.
I think it's got to be Superman, right?
It's got to be Superman, of course. Who else
Yeah,
could it
people
be?
were speculating who it could be, and like, no, it's Superman. Don't
Come on,
overthink
guys.
it.
Yeah.
It's
What's
Superman.
your gut saying right there? You know. I hope it's Superman.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the trailers. At least the ones we've want to talk about. Now, a quick movie review, and then we'll wrap this sucker up.
Put a nice bow on it.
Mm-hmm. Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes. We both saw it. I have to admit, not my favorite out of the three.
You were saying that the second one?
The second one is my favorite, yeah.
This one, I really liked the first one, but the second one was pretty good. This one, I mean, it wasn't bad. Like, it still stood up. It kind of reminded me a little bit of, you've got the Lord of the Rings trilogy, where the first one, and then you've got the second one where it's like Helm's Deep, the big battle.
Yeah.
And then you've got this third one where they kind of like wrap it up a little bit quicker with, the ghosts coming in and killing everybody.
Right.
Being done with it.
The ghost being an avalanche at
Yes.
the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this movie takes place 15 years after the events of the first movie. And humans are pretty much all but extinct at this point.
They've got some sort of virus in them, but that's also making it to where they can't even speak.
Yeah.
It's like full on affecting them.
Which I like, because that leads right into like the original Planet of the Apes movies where the humans couldn't speak.
Right. Yeah.
So like, oh, that's how. Oh, clever. Okay.
Yeah.
But this one we find, the humans are almost extinct, and there is this crazy army colonel who is out to end all the apes. And he ends up capturing a lot of them.
Right.
And the story kind of goes from there. The colonel, played by Woody Harrelson.
Which I thought did a great job.
He did.
He was really... I mean, you actually could see why these people were following him.
Yeah.
He had a purpose and a cause. Although I did think it was kind of interesting where he's like shaving his head as he's talking to everybody. Like, good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
As they're all getting pumped up for the day.
Yeah, you get to see a lot more of this world. A lot more of the world that these people and apes are living in. Caesar is talking a lot more. Mm-hmm. Which I don't know. That kind of... I know obviously they're leading towards apes just speaking the way we do. But there was a lot of talking from those apes that it was almost bordering on cartoony to me.
Really? No, I actually appreciated it.
Really?
The times that I didn't like it is when they were signing and Caesar's looking a different direction. It's like, and you see the words down below.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, how did you know what that person said? You at least have to be looking at the person when you're signing. And
there are times where they weren't even signing. It was just an expression,
mm-hmm.
and then words would appear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also mentioned that the CG in certain spots for me just wasn't quite there.
See, that where I thought it was really pretty impressive that they could like have it raining and not have any type of issues with it.
Yeah.
With the CG and the makeup, and also looking like, because it looked like a cold, brutal landscape that they were in, so you could see their breath constantly. The thing, like you were saying, the only problem I had with them is like you'd see Caesar from like the backside, or some of these other apes from the backside, and they look kind of stumpy.
Yeah.
Like they didn't have any type of a defined waist.
Mm-hmm.
Like it went straight. I mean, and it kind of looked a little bit like a suit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
And it was yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's hard, I would imagine, to make apes walk and talk and that sort of thing.
We're kind of nitpicking at this movie, but overall, it was great. But like, I always go back to these movies as this is the standard for when you're doing like animal
And see, that's what I was doing. I was using this movie and going back to the first two and going, it's not quite there. This one, the CG is just not quite there. It was better in the other two.
Yeah, perhaps they focused a little more on story with this one.
Maybe,
and also I don't know.
That could be.
But it was pretty sweet to see these guys riding into battle, because like you've got like, okay, Caesar, he's on his horse at this one scene, and it was fantastic. He rides back like they're kind of outnumbered, and you see the horse kind of like getting all jittery, and it knows something's about to come, and then you see the other like apes riding on these horses like through the mist, and then he turns around and they just lead the charge into battle. That was pretty sick. That was awesome.
Yeah, it definitely had some cool moments. There were some cool fights that happened.
Oh yeah, not even like between humans and humans. That was pretty cool when he actually like stumbles back up on Woody Harrelson's character. Yeah, and you see in the background all these like rockets taking off and like launching.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, it's probably my least favorite out of the three. But it was. Saying that, it was a good ending to the trilogy. I think it ended where it needed to end.
Right. Leading right up to the other ones.
Yeah, but it tied it up pretty perfectly. So, out of 5...
apes?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
5 apes. I'm in like 3... territory,
just barely hitting 3.
Yeah.
Not. I was leaning towards 2.5, but I'm like, no, it was a little bit better than that. So it's a 3. It's a solid movie.
Yeah, and it really is, and I'm giving it 3 because it's coming off of the other 2, which were excellent, solid films, which I think I gave like 4 or 5 out of 5. And so that helps it a little bit. But yeah, it's worth a watch.
It is.
For sure. If you're a fan of the other 2, of course, go see this one. Like I said, it ties everything up well.
And it really didn't feel like it was like 2.5 hours.
No, it didn't.
No, it went by. I was like, oh, wow, okay, it's already over.
Yeah. But be warned, it is very bleak and kind of depressing.
Yeah.
Of a movie, so, but it does get hopeful.
It does.
But it's you run the gamut of emotions with this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Here's where you can find us. You can hear all of our episodes at worldwarg.podbean.com. We're also on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Just search World War G. On the social medias, we're at facebook.com/World War G podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWG podcast. You can find all of our merchandise at shop.spreadshirt.com/World War G. You can find our shirts and hats shirts and buttons, mugs and bags, all kinds of good stuff. You can email us anytime.
Day or night?
At worldwgpodcast@gmail.com. So, this has been World War G, episode 137. That has been AJ.
That has been Troy.
Stay geeky, my friends, and I'm going to bed.